We have a wonderful, wonderful podcast today with one of my favorite people in the world. And, Impact Wave and our Impact Wave podcast series. And she's done so much with her life. And I think she's an absolute legend. And she's had so many awards, so many nominations. And she's just so impactful throughout her entire career. And I couldn't be happier than to interview her and talk to her and get her sense of the world. So, Lorraine Bracco, welcome to the Impact Wave podcast.
Thank you, Dan. How lovely. I appreciate it.
Oh,
Good to be here.
No, it's wonderful to have you. And we've all vied to try to do this podcast because it was you. And I said, no, I have to do this because she's one of my favorite. She's one of my favorite people. I'm not going to let this opportunity go past. But I know you've been doing, quite a few things, and from Goodfellas to that other Italian show. What was the name of that Italian show? Oh, the Sopranos. There you go.
The singer.
I could see that the singer, right? So you have this vast body of work, and I think it's terrific. And then one of the things, one of your favorite movies that you mentioned at some point in time was that you acted in was Someone to Watch Over Me.
Yes, Ridley Scott, and that was my first, big breakout.
Yeah, and it was a wonderful movie. And I remember the performance, and the others are, also, quite amazing. And then if you looked at that and you look at the continuum for Lorraine Bracco, with Sopranos and with Goodfellas, I'm sure that they had to be, another breakout moments, and that lasted for years and years and years. What's your thought on that?
I've been very fortunate.
Yeah.
Very, very fortunate that, I've been able to be in this business for a couple of decades, and have a couple of good home runs.
Yeah. No, that's the way to say it. It is actually, you're right. It's home runs is right. Just amazing stuff. Well, good for you. Some of the things that, I'm looking forward to, I think I'm going to watch it this weekend, is your new movie that came out, Jacir.
Uh-huh.
And I guess it's on Apple TV. It may be elsewhere too, but I'm going to spend some time on that this weekend because I got Apple TV for the sole purpose of watching that movie.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about it. I know it's refugees. It's the Syrian refugee crisis. It touches on so many elements of our society today, including poverty and drug addiction, set down in Memphis. I love the whole concept. Give us an idea as to what your thoughts are there.
So basically the story, it's a true story of the writer-director. Yeah. And it's his story growing up in Memphis. And he was a Jordan refugee, not a Syrian refugee.
Oh, okay, right.
No big difference, I don't think, in that. Anyway, it follows the story of this young kid from Syria who's lost everything, and he comes to the States, and he ends up going to Memphis, living in a very poor neighborhood, and I am unfortunately his opioid addicted racist neighbor.
Oh gosh.
And the story, when I read it, the script, I was so moved. I was like, oh my God, with everything too that's going on, this is an incredible story. And I really wanted to do it. It was in the throes of COVID, so it was very difficult. And it was also a production with not a lot of money. Yeah. And we had a very, very small crew, but it's a very interesting story. It is what is going on today, every day. And basically, he's a very nice young man, and my character Merrill is very, very harsh with him and gives him no mercy. And we eventually, he does a couple of really nice things for Merrill, and she turns the corner and says, well, you're not so bad for a Syrian. And she's tough. She's but the film is very moving.
And how did you get yourself into that character? And with the dialogue and especially the character, because you're obviously not that kind of a person to the contrary.
No,
So how does?
no, but I mean, I think being addicted to anything, anybody can figure their way, as an actor, figure their way through that. And she's desperate, and it's a very sad. She's in a very sad situation. She lost her husband, and when she lost her husband, with that, she lost her career and friends, and she just started to alienate herself. And I think that's very prevalent in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I can't believe is you have all these elements and facets to that movie, and I can't wait to see it. I've been reading a lot about it, but it's as if you sort of anticipated what was going on with the world when it was being developed. And I don't know how far ago or long ago it was being developed in the writing, but you have every element of society and actually what's wrong with society and hopefully what's right with society. That's an amazing accomplishment to put that all together.
Yeah, it's really interesting because he helps her. Somebody breaks into her house and he helps her. And therefore now the police are aware of him. Now ICE is aware of him. So if he just didn't help her, and he got beat up, they stole my bag, and he again, by helping her, he put himself in jeopardy.
Yeah.
He's on the bad radar.
Gosh, I love that. I can't wait to see it. And I'm sure that you'll see another nomination and or an award for you.
I'm just happy that people are going to get to see the movie.
Oh, I think it's amazing.
It's a good story.
Yeah, no, I could imagine. And then beyond that, I know you've done some work, Pinocchio and other things. What else, is in your professional life? And then we'll get into things like Felix Organization. But from a professional point of view, what have you been doing, and what do you see yourself doing in the near term?
So I made a movie in Spain that was very interesting. I don't know when it's going to come out. I don't know anything yet. But I spent 2 months in Barcelona and in Fuerteventura. And it's all about, I was in a refugee camp. It's a very interesting story. It's called Rich Flu. And I mean, I don't even know how to begin to tell you the crux of the story. Basically, there's a virus going around, and it's hitting rich people, and they can't give their money away quick enough.
Wow.
So that it's kind of, and I find myself in a refugee camp.
Wow. What an amazing thing. That's can't wait. And you don't know when that comes out. It comes out
I don't. We finished it just about a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't even know if they know. They've got to edit. It's a very long time to make movies.
Yeah. No, I could imagine. Gosh. And what else do you see yourself doing these days or in the future? And I know it's sort of an open palette for you because you're so talented in so many different ways. Is there anything that you'd like to start doing that you haven't done?
Well, I might start working now in May, but I'm not allowed to talk about it. So that's sad. maybe next week I could talk about it. And I have a nice little part in Mark Wahlberg's movie. I know they've changed the title, I don't know how many times, so that doesn't matter either, but I've done
Yeah.
that. That's in the can. And that's
That's a,
it's enough.
no, it certainly is enough. Yeah. It's a long list for you. Good for you. Well, I'm sure all of our viewers and the a couple of million of people who will see this will recognize you in the new stuff, the old stuff, and I guess they can't wait for you to do more things because I don't think people could get enough of you, to be quite honest. Just that kind of a person, which is quite remarkable. It's funny because when we first started our podcast series, I had the good fortune of interviewing Sheila Jaffe and DMC, and this is when we first got involved with Felix Organization, and I love Felix Organization, and then when I met those guys, I said, "Oh, this is terrific," and you could see how personal it is with them, and they're going to put their all into it, forever and ever, and you have that, over the years, and I know you've been sort of on the with this organization for 17 years. They're doing remarkable work. How did you get involved with Felix Organization?
Sheila Jaffe.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I've known Sheila for years. And she asked me for some help. And at the time, I was like, yeah, what do we need? What do we need? And she gave me, was for the first camp. And I'm friends with Martha Stewart. And I called Martha and I asked her could she help us, because she had big line of housewares and everything. And so she was extraordinary and went into the warehouse and sent up to the camp for kids everything: towel, sheets, knapsacks, plates, dishes, whatever she had. She was incredibly generous, and they couldn't believe it. Sheila and Darryl were like, "Oh my God, what a way to start." And that was incredible. And we've, I've been there ever since then. It's a simple thing for me. I have 2 children. I have been blessed. They're great kids. They're smart. They're healthy. And I was able to afford them a good life.
Yeah.
We traveled. They went to good schools. They lacked for nothing. Yeah. And so when I looked around and I saw that these kids really needed a hand, they need a hand, they need advice, they need caring, that people care about them, and I've wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah, no, that's just wonderful work. We at ImpactWayv, we do work with, hundreds, if not thousands of organizations throughout the world. And it really is quite amazing and rewarding. But, when you get to, as you said, you get to, foster children and those people who, don't have that family connection, and at least the birth family connection, but then they're placed into something which is somewhat manufactured, but certainly good for them. You could see how important it is to them. And as you said, whether it's mentoring or just the personal touch and the guidance and the counseling, it really is amazing. And especially coming from like leading figures in the entertainment industry like yourself, and certainly others, it has to be so impactful, for these kids throughout the country. Gosh.
Look, I believe we're all God's children, and and we all deserve a chance, no matter where, who, what, and when.
Yeah.
There's no reason for anyone to feel lonely and I mean, there's so many words I could use,
Yeah.
but I know Sheila and Darryl often said, they felt unwanted. That they felt that, why me? Well, what
Yeah.
happened? Why they want to give me away?
Sure.
And I think we need to get past those those feelings and know that there are people who care and who are willing to help
Mhm.
out and do. And that's what the whole camp thing is about. They can go to camp. They don't have to think. They just have to be. They have to go to dance class or photography class or swimming, uh, learning how to cook, um, computer programming. We have so many things, and we just want the kids to know that they could just be
Yeah.
and they have nothing to worry about, and everything will be taken care of for them for the time that they're in the camp.
Mhm.
And uh, the feedback from the kids who have been at Camp Felix and who have come back and been counselors and who have gone through the foster care system and have gone on to be educated and have come back as social workers.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's amazing that we had such a good impact on these children. It's
Mhm.
amazing to me.
It really is amazing. And the other thing that that I find to be remarkable about that organization is, as you said, there's like a continuum, and the kids
Yep,
start there, and they go through these various levels. Then they become camp
yeah,
counselors, and then they return
yep,
and they give back, and
yep.
they know how important that is, giving
That's right.
making
We,
that U-term and helping everyone that it could help. And it's sort of a network effect where, it just blossoms into something remarkable.
well, they also have the power to say, "I've walked in your shoes,"
Exactly.
and that's a big thing. I think
That is really
that's a
very,
big
very impactful.
thing.
Yeah. I remember Sheila mentioning that. DMC certainly mentioned that. And yeah, I'm just, astounded as to that continuum concept, not just one thing, or two or three things. It's over the person's life. Then they come back and they
Yep.
really are nurtured, and they're going to nurture others.
And also the other thing is that we need to always remember is all the people who work at Good Shepherd and
Yeah.
the Foundling and at Felix. I mean, all of these people who dedicate their lives to helping these children try to follow their dreams.
Yeah. And that's the
It's a
most
beautiful
important thing.
thing.
No, it really is. And one of the things that we try to do with ImpactWayv, we try to put all these organizations together, throughout the world. And, that connectivity just helps build each of the organizations. And if they're in a position where they could connect and interconnect and engage and share experiences and also share donors, that's also pretty important. It really is a win-win situation for
Sure.
everyone. That's why we're so proud to, be one of your partners and sponsors and affiliates. I think it's just amazing in every sense. Um, I want to come back to that in a second, but I wanted to ask you another one or two personal questions. How about that?
Okay, you could try.
I could ask the question, but you may not want to answer it. That's okay too. No, I don't blame you. No,
No,
I'm
it's
just
okay.
curious in terms of, we talked a little bit before about what is the most meaningful thing that you've done and what's the most impactful and things of that nature. I know it's a big question, but in terms of what you like to do next, and there are a lot of different things that you'd like to do, I'm sure. Is it going to be more sort of the producing, acting? Will it be more in terms of the not-for-profit area? A lot of people do go into that at a certain point in their lives. Um, give me, I'm sure you thought of it many, many times. I think about it every day. Like, what's next? What the hell am I going to do?
Really? I never think about that.
No? Oh, all
No.
right. Good for you.
I have flown on the seat of my pants my entire life.
Really? Good for
You
you.
know, what's important to me now is I have 2 grandchildren.
Oh, Mark.
That is my pride and joy. I also have a daughter who is a clinical psychologist,
Yeah.
and she's helping people left and right. It's an amazing career and life that she's managed. And one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard is, you know, Stella will say, "I just want to be like Sheila Jaffe."
Oh, is that right? Wow.
And I mean, that just blew the both of us away when she said it, because Sheila's been unwavering in her commitment to these children.
Yeah.
And Stella has also been unwavering to a body of people who need help.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's worked at, you know, many places. She worked at Bedford to
Yeah.
teach the women inmates math.
Yeah.
She's done a lot of things that
Mhm. Well,
have been phenomenal.
it's such an important lesson in life, and I'm sure that you imparted a lot of that to her. But it really is an important lesson, right? To be focused and committed and devoted, and trying to do your best for other people around you, whether it's what you do, Lorraine or Sheila or others. It's that level of commitment which is unique. I wish more people had that. And I certainly appreciate that in every sense. I wish I could be nearly as good as what you guys have done over the years. But it really is quite remarkable. Good for you.
It takes time.
It does take time,
Takes
right?
time, and we made mistakes, and we picked ourselves up, and we went on. All right, we won't be doing that again. But yeah, you learn from failure. That's another thing that I think a lot of kids don't realize,
Yeah.
that we learn from failure. It's good to fail.
Yeah.
It's
No, you're right.
crazy to hear that, right?
Yeah.
How do you say to a kid who's 12 years old, good, fail? It's all
Right.
right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's how
Yeah.
you're going to learn.
You have
That's
to
how
try.
you grow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how you grow, right? You have to try it and you have to learn and then grow as much as possible. Just phenomenal stuff. And, if we go back to Felix Organization, I know it's dear to your heart, dear to my heart. I know that coming up in the beginning of May, or I guess it's the middle of May, is the walk, right? It's the Walk This Way, fundraiser that you're having. It's going to be Sunday, May 21st, 2023, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Hudson River Park, Pier 62. I love that walk, by the way. We did.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's a real good walk, and just wonderful, wonderful people. But even more importantly, I know you're going to be honored for your work, and you're going to be receiving the 2023 Felix Dream Maker Award at the event. That is an amazing accomplishment. How do you feel about that? Give us an idea as to.
I feel undeserved.
Oh God. No.
I feel like I just do the best I can, and I follow my heart, and I, that's all I do. So I don't think it deserves an award. I don't think I'm very special. I don't, I mean, it's very nice, and Sheila twisted my arm. No, I'm teasing. No, it's she knows I don't like any of that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's so funny. One of the first things that when I already knew Sheila, but one of the things that really got me to believe in Felix and Darryl and Sheila's message was I'd been to many, like you, many fundraisers and award ceremonies and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I turned around to Sheila at the table, I was like, I really like this organization that you want to start here. And she said, why? I said, because you don't have a $500 basket of flowers on the table.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
And she looked at me and I said, well, because that money
Could go.
for me goes to where it should go.
Yeah.
And Sheila always remembered that was something meaningful to me, in their philosophy.
Yeah.
It wasn't the big spread. It wasn't the big hoopla, the big band or this or that. And there are other organizations that do this beautifully. Don't get me wrong. But when you're first starting out,
yeah,
it was, I liked that they were humble from the beginning.
Yeah.
And we've stayed that way.
No, I agree. We have that conversation amongst the entire team, all the time. You look at, some of the organizations, and I love them all because they all do great things.
Of course.
There's no doubt about that, as you said. But, some of the organizations are so frilly, and that's okay, whether it be black ties and gowns, and they raise money and they devote their time and effort to phenomenal causes. But then when you do get to, I'll call the smaller organizations, and the people who are in those organizations like yours, they have this deep personal commitment to it. And, it's in their blood. You could see that it runs deep, and you could see that. And that's what I love about the Felix organization. When something like that is so close to your heart, it just shows, it shows, how you feel to the rest of the world. And I think that's the most important thing.
I agree. And God knows for 17 years, we've been plugging at it, and it's just been, my reward is that the kids, it's a refuge for them.
Yeah.
And they love it.
And they love it, right?
They love it. They're so happy. I mean, one of the great lines, one of the campers said, whoever thought of the swimming pool, that was a really good idea.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, it is that simple.
That simple.
It's so impactful. That is great. Well, anything else that you'd like to add? Or, there's so many great things. I have a list of so many things I'd love to talk to you about. But maybe in, the second series of this podcast, we could talk about a lot of different things.
Sure.
But I would love to sit down more.
Listen, I'm thrilled you're a supporter.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much. I really, I appreciate it. I appreciate your time and your efforts.
Yeah.
I do.
And vice versa. Listen, it was wonderful meeting you like this, and I can't wait to see you at the walk.
Oh, good.
And, I'm looking forward to that.
I'll be there.
You'll be there. I'll be there. We're going to have T-shirts. It's just a hell of a good time. But Lorraine, listen, thank you so much for all you do, for the Felix Foundation, in all of your life efforts. And we wish you nothing but success to you and your family. But
thank you.
We couldn't express our gratitude enough.
Thank you. That's so kind, Dan. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Lorraine,
God bless.
And I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
All righty. Thank you, and have a great day. Good weekend.
Okay, you too.
Okay. Bye-bye.